Now playing movie reviews in 20 Qs.
Hello, you goddamn fantastic people, and welcome to the podcast Movie Reviews in 20 Qs. Nah, not this week. Not this week. We are not reviewing a movie in 20 questions. It's episode 150. We're doing something special. We are doing an Ask Me Anything. I went out there to our Patreons. I basically said, hey, what are some questions you've always wanted to know from us? Throw as many as us as you like. And they did. And I pitched this as probably only being an episode of me and Stacey, but I've said Liz might come along. Liz has come along. How are you, Liz?
I am top-notch and I am not sober, so yay!
So you are ready to answer some very, personal questions?
Maybe more answering them than you would like, Sam.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm drunk as well. I'm not going to pay any attention.
Things might get honest.
Cool story, bro. The other person joining me is Stacey. As I mentioned, hey, Stacey, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm super excited to be here.
You say that every time.
I never thought this would ever happen.
Never.
150 times we have done this. Well, you have done this.
No, 149 times I've done this. 148 times I've done this.
Oh, you missed a couple.
I have missed a couple.
Yes.
You three, being you two and Emily, did an episode, and Mitch did that Harry Potter episode.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. I haven't been there for all of them, but I've been there in spirit and edited them, and so I guess I have been there for all of them.
I feel like Stacey would have put the kibosh on it by now.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised we haven't been cancelled by now. It's incredibly surprising. However, as I mentioned, we went out there to our Patreons. We sent them a direct message and said, hey, what are some questions that you'd like to know from us? Can be literally anything. Can be related to film. Can be how we'd incorporate Nikolis Cage into our sex life. It can be anything. It can literally be anything. We're going to go through them. I've just randomized it, put them into an order, and our Patreons, we love you guys. We absolutely love you guys. We love your questions. We've got a random number generator. You've been assigned a number between 1 and 13 for the ones that reply to us. And we're going to pick out 2 of you guys to win a $25 Amazon gift voucher and the currency of your choice. So if, for instance, you're the lovely Amy from the UK, it'll be in pounds. And if you're me, it's going to be in New Zealand dollars. I became a Patreon just so I can win this. What?
What if you hate Jeff Bezos?
I'll figure out a way. I'll see if people...
Well, it's only $25. It's like less than he makes when he blinks.
That's a good point.
He won't even notice.
Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get this show on the road. We've got like 30-something questions to answer, so we need to get through these. And are you guys ready?
Yes, I was born ready.
Look, these guys don't know what the questions
ready right
are.
Now.
That's the best part about
that's totally douchebag, by the way, because I am just going to be like, duh, pencils.
Yep. Anyway, don't worry, guys. These aren't too personal. Some of them are. They are. I can't wait to get into these. I'm the only one that knows what the questions are. Let's see how these guys react to them. No answers prepared. Let's do this. First up, randomly selected, Chris Yeni. Chris Yeni sent us 4 questions.
Woo!
Gosh.
Let's go through them. Okay, guys. First one, which 2 male and female television characters or movie characters would you most want to have in the sack?
God, that's
Did you say
tough.
television or movie?
Television or movies. Yeah.
Well, it's
I like that he's given us television because I am a television girl, so this is very exciting.
straight off. It's got to be Chris Hemsworth out of Extraction,
Interesting.
and
Why is that interesting? He's hot and obvious.
out of
Ragnarok.
Yes, or sorry,
You want some woman that's going to murder you.
No,
We're straight
sorry,
into the
sorry,
Stacey
sorry.
answers. This
Sorry,
is brilliant.
I forgot about Charlize Theron. She's my woman I'd turn gay
Yeah.
for. I'm sorry, Charlize. How could I forget?
I believe it, 100%.
Charlize in what film role, though?
Long Shot.
Old guard.
Oh, long shot.
Oh.
Yes. She's hot.
She
and
is
tight,
so stunning
but sexy in long shot.
and smart.
I mean, my answers, first obvious answer, Sharon Stone out of Basic Instinct. I don't even care that she'd murder me at the end. I'd be over so quickly
worth
that it
it.
would not even register on her to have a chance to murder me.
You'd be in such throes of pleasure that you wouldn't even notice that you were being murdered. What about the dude?
Probably, tough. Peter Griffin? Peter
What?
Griffin out of Family Guy?
Wow.
Ugh.
I think you should have a think about that while I answer the question.
Yes.
Because it's quite easy for me. Well, actually, no, it was tough to think of the dude, but Tom Hardy immediately came to mind, so that's what I'm going with. And I'm going with Tom Hardy in Mad Max,
Ooh.
Fury Road.
Yep.
Like,
He doesn't
he's just
say anything,
hard
and he's
tough.
what?
I know.
You could-
That's what I want about a man that I'm having sex with. Stop talking.
Wear this mask, get chained to the front of this
I was
car.
going to say more licking, but that's like very, very specific. And anyway, the point is, Tom Hardy. Like, there's just something about Tom Hardy just does it for me. And the woman is It used to be the woman I'd go gay for was Katherine Heigl in Grey's Anatomy, but she's been superseded by Poussey in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, I can see
Samira
that.
Wiley, like she is just, there's just something about her bone structure. She is just beautiful.
Stunning.
She's this beautiful, delicate woman. And also she's badass awesome. Like, and Poussey is in Orange is the New Black, as Moira in Handmaid's Tale. Like, she is just an amazing actress, amazing characters. So 100% her and Tom Hardy. Done. Lock it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which one I would have to cross.
It's funny, because girls are immediately like, oh, I would bang this girl.
It's like, well, I want to feel adored, but at the same time, I want to feel. I don't know, like they kind of. I don't know, like probably Thor. I've talked about him on the bloody.
Funny,
Thor.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
We talked about it in the episode 100. I already
he's a
said
beautiful
4. I was
man.
like,
He's
well,
a
it just
beautiful
makes
man.
no sense.
You actually won.
I
that
love how
question.
you want to feel adored, and I want to feel like I've been thrown up against a wall.
I don't want to get thrown up against the wall by a man, but at the same time, I want to know
Well,
that he
not
can.
by Thor.
Oh, what are we talking about? Jesus Christ. Move on. God damn you, Chris Yeni.
Tom
I'm gonna
Hardy
come to your
throwing
house and
against
punch you in the face. Chris Yeni has a question that he
So
asks.
Chris Yeni is your guy that you'd want to. Never mind.
Chris Yeni has a question that he asks every podcast, which is what song would be inserted into this film and where/why. The question he's got is, if a specific song could play every time you walked into a specific room, what tune would it be? I'd like to hear
I like
Queen's
that.
Another One Bites the Dust every time I go take a dump.
Oh no.
And another one
The
down,
song-
another one down, another one bites the dust.
I don't want to think about me taking a dump.
No. That's
Don't.
Not, that's not
I'd
your-
pick another room.
The song that I always think of if I'm gonna like write the soundtrack to my biopic is, I think it's Desiree, and it's like, you gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta be wiser, you gotta be. I don't know what it is, but anyway, like that, I just really like that. Like, I just feel like it's this amazing, empowering song that's just like, you can be badass, and you can be everything you need to be. So that would be my song, and I'd just pick that for whatever room I
Every
needed
room.
to walk into and have confidence. Yeah.
If I'm being serious, probably The Killers, Mr. Brightside. That song's never gone out of fashion. Every time I walk into a pub, if I was playing Mr. Brightside, I'd be like, oh, this place is going to be fun. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be fun.
I feel like the message of that song is a bit depressing.
Oh, who cares about that, Liz? Jesus Christ, come on, man. What about you, Stacey?
Well, this may seem a
She
bit...
touches his chest, now he takes off.
Yeah, we get it, Liz.
Sorry.
Well, I think that every time I walk into Fern's room, if you're happy and you know it, it needs to
Okay.
start playing.
You've not put a time limit on this. Imagine walking into a 17-year-old girl's bedroom. If you're happy and you know it,
Happy and you know it, clap your
that
hands.
17-year-old would just be like,
Okay.
get the fuck out of here, mum.
I think that's amazingly hilarious, and you should totally lock that down and do it forevermore.
I didn't know it was forever. Does it say
Forever.
that in
Do
this
it
Yes.
question?
forever.
Every
think it's-
time.
Every time for eternity.
I think that's gold, and you should just lock that in because that's very cheerful.
I know,
and
that-
every child should want her mother to bring cheerfulness into her life.
Exactly.
It's an interesting question. If you like, because it would be terrifying if a song played every time you walked
You'd
into
also
a room.
just get
every
sick
time I
of
walked
it. It
into a
doesn't matter
toilet,
what song
if
it
I
would
heard
be.
the same song over and over again, I would be goddamn terrified. Like
You wouldn't
literally,
want to go to the toilet.
you wouldn't want to go to the toilet if I heard every time I walked in there, I heard the same song. His next question: if you could play a game with any celebrity, what game would it be, and with whom?
Ooh.
Is it too obvious for me to say Twister with Natalie Portman?
No.
Well,
spin
you
the
know, I
bottle with
do
Natalie
look
Portman.
like Natalie Portman.
You look.
I
nothing
do look like
no,
her.
you don't. Is it
not
too?
in Sam's head.
Or spin the bottle with Natalie Portman. Is that too obvious?
Oh,
7 minutes in heaven with Chris Hemsworth.
we just answering
Like-
question one again.
Yeah, I feel like we are.
No, but like 7 minutes in heaven because like you've got 7 minutes, so I can make out with him, but also have laughs and chats.
What about a game of Pandemic with Dr.
Dr.
Dr. Ashley
Ashley
Bloomfield? Actually, no, Brie Larson I think would be more fun. More fun to play a game with.
I'd come over if you had Brie Larson over.
That'd be cool.
How about Hunger Games with Liam Hemsworth?
What, you want to play murdering children with Liam
No, but I
Hemsworth?
want to do it the way where we team up and like kill everyone else.
You want
Oh.
to team up with Liam Hemsworth and kill everyone else. Here comes the alphabet men. Here comes the CIA. Here comes the FBI. They're going to kick down your door, Liz. What about you? What about you?
For like the third time this week.
You love Last Card. You love beating people at Last Card. What is going to be? Who are you going to play Last Card against?
Yes, that's a good question. Who? Why?
Yeah, actually, because I like playing euchre. If I'm playing card games, I play euchre.
But I don't really know who's a celebrity that you want to win against.
Someone you want to talk to and like spend time with, and like Tom Hardy, I want to bang, but I don't necessarily want to talk to him about his feelings. Whereas Chris Hemsworth, I feel would be quite funny. He'd be quite fun to chat to.
Yeah.
No offense, Tom Hardy. I'm sure you're perfectly delightful and whatnot, but I just want you to throw me up against the wall and make me forget like society and whatnot.
You're just making me think. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah, he'd be fun.
He'd be fun.
Oh, John Hamm.
Oh, there it is.
How did I
Of course, John Hamm.
Piece of pork would come out. The next question from Chris is pretty much a question just for me. Which is, would I rather have Compliance having a movie deal by 2030 or see Reap, which was the film that Paul Brazulia and Wayne Aruzu from the Countdown podcast made made like something 20-something years ago? Or see that in the next 6 months. So that's the question. Like, would I rather have Compliance have a movie deal by 2030 or see Reap in the next 6 months? I really want to see Reap, and I feel like I'd be doing the world a service by getting Reap out there, Chris, but at the same time, I'm a selfish motherfucker, so I would love to see my book turned into a movie. Of course I'd love to see that. So I'm going to go with my book.
You'd definitely make more money out of the latter option.
I think so. I think Reap would have a hardcore dedicated following. My movie would be flavour of the week, I think, but at the same time, cool. I'm happy with that. Moves us on to our next Patreon, which is Renegade, who basically just had one question. Who's got the best hooters in cinema? Is it Mary Swanson's Owls from Dumb and Dumber, or is it Bob from Fight Club?
What?
The best hooters.
Are you talking about breasts?
Yeah, of course. Hooters, breasts.
Who out of...
I was thinking Harry Potter and Hedwig. I really like Hedwig as a character.
You're not answering the question, Liz. Let's get back on track.
Bob from Fight... Who's Bob?
Bob.
Bob has man boobs. His name was Robert Paulson.
Robert Paulson. Yeah, he's the guy with the massive man boobs. Or Mary Swanson,
Oh, Mary Swanson.
You reckon?
Yeah. No, but I've only got
Harry
those
Potter
two
and
options.
Hedwig.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Mary Swanson. They flash lights. Like he takes her top off and they start flashing lights. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, admittedly, he's sleeping and there's a car coming towards him, but...
I like the ones in Austin Powers where the girls like shoot.
Yeah, the fembots.
Yeah, the fembot boobs. They might be even better boobs.
That seems way useful.
Way more practical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cheers for the question there, Renegade. Next up, are you guys ready to go on a roller coaster?
Sure.
I've never really liked roller coasters. I don't really like the feeling of adrenaline.
I think we're already on one, to be honest.
What upcoming Nicolas Cage movie are you guys most excited for? Is it Wally's Wonderworld, Tiger King, History of Swearing, Pig, the one where he plays himself and he's trying to basically get his life back on track and he's going to be in a Quentin Tarantino movie called The Incredible Weight of Greatness or something like that? And
Tiger King.
Steve from Everything I Learned from Movies has basically told me to pull up the plot synopsises for you guys in case you were wondering.
I don't care, Tiger King. Oh my God, Tiger King. Oh my God, Tiger. Is he going to play Tiger King? Oh my God, that's going to bring me so much joy.
He's playing...
It's got to be The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Where he plays himself.
There could not be anything worse.
That's a terrible name for a film.
Better at the same time. The best and worst thing you could ever think of.
But imagine him as fucking Joe Exotic. Like, oh my God. Who's going to play Carol Baskin?
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like Lisa Kudrow has got to be a shoo-in.
She would be so... Can you imagine Nick Cage is Joe Exotic and Lisa Kudrow is Carol Baskin? Oh my God, I need to see that movie right now.
Kate McKinnon is literally the only other person I could think that would be awesome as...
Oh, yes.
As Carol.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'd take that too.
Carol fucking Baskin.
Do you...
She 100%
Are you going to accept our answers or are you going to tell us what these other movies are?
So just looking at a couple of the plots for the other one. One called Pig is about a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregon wilderness who must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after his pig is kidnapped. What the fuck?
I don't like mushrooms.
No way.
So a truffle hunter's pig is kidnapped and then he has to go searching for his pig. The other one, Willy's Wonderland, is a quiet drifter, being Nicolas Cage, is tricked into a janitorial job at the now condemned Wally's Wonderland. The mundane tasks suddenly become an all-out fight for survival against wave after wave of demonic animatronics. Then goes on to say, fists fly, kicks land, titans clash, and only one side will make it out alive. So Nicolas Cage fighting a whole bunch of animatronic beings.
Where does he find these movies?
I've got no idea where he finds these movies, Stacey. There's a great video where it's like his agent ringing him up and is just like, hey, so they want you to play Hitler's ass. I'm in. What do you mean you're in? And he just keeps going through all these films and he's just like, you got to say no to something, Nick.
No, he doesn't.
It's just all of those sound terrible, but Tiger King sounds amazing. I'm not going to lie. I will watch that and I'll watch it with joy.
We've watched a couple of episodes of the history of swear words.
It's fun.
It's fine. It's not lighting the world on fire, is it?
Nah, it's like Nicolas Cage at his best with a horrible wig, but it's fine.
Nothing's going to be as good as Con Air.
Nah. he peaks with that, The Rock, and Face Off within the space of 1 year. That's
No,
phenomenal.
Vampire's Kiss.
Oh, sorry, Vampire's Kiss. Yeah, that's
the
correct.
best Nick Cage movie.
Easily the best Nick Cage movie. Thanks, Steve, for everything I learnt from movies. You're the man, bro. Moves us over to Nick from Nikolis' Kitchen. What's a feature you'd love to add to the podcast that's not already a part of it?
Ooh, a new feature.
I'd like to add a new podcast where once a month I interview a celebrity and basically talk to them about a film that they absolutely crushed it in. So it would be like similar to how Emily does Strong Female Leads as a spin-off of her podcast. I like to do Crushed It, and it's basically just talking to somebody about one of their iconic roles and, like their lead into it, what they thought, while they were making it, if they ever had any idea that was going to be great or not, you know what I mean? Like the ultimate would be something like, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man or something like that. But I'm trying to think of, like, Carl Urban, for instance, New Zealander as Dredd. Like, he was amazing in Dredd. It was, like, phenomenal. We just absolutely crushed that role. I just like to talk to celebrities about that and just like as a once a month sort of thing.
Wow. You'd be great.
I'd join this podcast especially if you were interviewing hot men.
Okay, cool. That's great.
What I would add is an episode every so often where you talk about amazing TV shows.
Well, you can do that. That's the next question, by the way. So, yeah.
What would you do, Stacey?
I really like it when we have guests on the show from other podcasts. So I think, which we do a lot already.
Yeah.
So what am I talking about? That's not new.
Oh, I think we should do one every month that we all really hated.
A movie that we hated.
Those
We've already started doing that as well.
Funnest ones. I know, they're the funnest podcasts, though, like where we're just like, oh, that bit was so bad, and this bit was so bad, and God, I hated this bit.
Yeah,
that was fun. I like those. Like Tenet and Inconceivable. Oh, my God, I hated those movies.
Yeah. I feel like we've tried other things, and none of them have ever really stuck. Like, we used to have trivia, we used to do movie reviews in 20 seconds, where we talk about other films that we'd never do a full episode on. I feel like we've tried other things, but I feel like we've refined the show to what it is now, and I feel like it works. So it's hard to...
Yeah, it's perfect, Nick, so fuck you.
You heard it here first.
Next question. When is Liz's TV Reviews and 20 Qs show going to premiere?
So, I have not completely forgotten about this, I promise. I actually have about 6 people lined up for different shows. I want Sam to do the first one because it feels appropriate. Stacey and I have agreed on doing a show. I think we were talking about Flack.
Yes.
It might be a good idea for me to start looking at lining one up soon because since I'm going on Rabbit Ears very soon to talk about Veronica Mars, that might be a great opportunity for me to plug an upcoming podcast about TV shows. I just have to work out the exact way I want to format it just because, A, I don't have a wife that I can bully into being on the podcast all the time, so I have to find guests elsewhere. Way more fun than just listening to me talking to myself. And B, I feel like without Patreon questions, I kind of thinking I might just do 10 standard questions, at least to begin with, about TV shows. So I have an idea, and I still want to do it, I promise. So watch this space.
2021?
So 2030.
Well, I'm not studying this year. I was studying 2 things last year, and I was actually, losing the plot a smidge. And now I'm not. I'm like, what am I going to do with all my quiet nights? So, boom. Podcast, bitches.
Fair enough. Next question is also a Liz question. When will we be doing a live watch of The Room?
Never. Does never work for you?
No, you've got to come to our house for a weekend. And
Okay,
we'll do it
fine.
At the time,
I'm going to do it on the 32nd of September.
Oh, shut up. You've got to come to our house for the weekend. We'll do it at 2:00 in the afternoon so that Nick can
I
play
don't
along.
want to watch it. Stop trying to make me watch this terrible film.
You've got no
But
idea.
You
Liz.
just
You've got
said
no
you
idea.
enjoy reviewing movies that you hate.
Exactly.
This is just so much enjoyment.
Doesn't mean I enjoy watching them first, though.
This is next level, Liz. Anyway,
I'll consider it as an option. I think Sam will need to get me very drunk first.
no, you'd be surprised how much you enjoy it.
Okay, fine. Honestly, most of it is just because it annoys Sam so much that I don't want to watch it. Like, I quite like just annoying Sam.
Perfect.
It's quite a driver for my life,
It
really.
is, yeah.
Cool. His next question is, what do you find you love or you hate about podcasting now that you didn't when you started?
Oh, do you know what I hate? Is the fact that every single movie I watch now, I'm analysing.
Yeah, that's
Because I feel like I'm going to do it on a podcast. Yeah, like I'm really thinking about like, oh, would that happen? Or is that a bit unrealistic? Or should that dialogue have been better? Or is this character should be this person? Or, you know, there's so many elements to it. And I really find myself thinking more. And that's really not ideal because so many movies are absolute shite.
What I love more about doing this podcast is the amount of movies I've watched that I would never, ever have watched.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Either through a
good call.
Patreon recommendation or Sam just pestering me or a guest suggesting a movie I've never heard of or whatever it is. I'm actually so grateful for that. I haven't loved them all, but I've watched loads of different genres and it's been really good.
That's such a good call, actually. Yeah, like there's been movies I've watched where I've been like, I probably wouldn't have watched this on my own, but actually I've quite enjoyed it. So I'm kind of glad that I got to watch that.
Yeah.
For me, it's the good far outweighs the negative. Like, if I was going to pick something negative, it would be something like, you know, like the editing and the grind of promoting social media, all that bullshit. Like, yeah, it's just part and parcel of podcasting. And like when you start out, you're young, fresh, and hungry, and you just all think it's, you know, like amazing and stuff like that. And I'm happy with the level of success we've hit. But the biggest thing that's come out of this is the amount of podcasting friends. And it sounds so cheesy. It's like, you know, the friends that we made along the way. But it is. Like, these are literally people that are on the same level as me that I never, ever would have become friends with otherwise. If it wasn't through this podcast, listening to their podcast, interacting, being on each other's shows, seeing each other on Twitter and shit like that. Like, you know, these are the people that I've added as a friend on Facebook in the last, you know, like couple of years. We don't always agree on films. In fact, we disagree on tons of stuff. Nick hates the MCU, whereas I love it with a passion, and we're still friends, you know? And it's just nice. As I've just become this great community that I really got to thank you guys, because I've hung out with friends that work in, you know, the filmmaking world. I've hung out with friends that work in stand-up comedy world, hang out with friends that work in the music world. And those communities are really shunning and clicky and real, like, pretentious gatekeepy type communities. Podcasting has been nothing but brilliant, to be honest. Like, they're just very welcoming and encouraging and supportive. So big ups to you guys. I know it's starting to sound pretty or whatever, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
I feel bad having said a negative thing, so I'm going to add a positive thing to it.
You can't. You've got to pick one. Nick said you've got to pick one.
Okay, well, my negative thing is negative, but I'm still going to say that it's been nice being over in Australia and being able to reconnect with some Kiwi friends. And, like, you know, like, I feel like our friendship is much better now because I've spent so much time with you guys talking about movies, which is really nice, actually.
Yeah. Cool. And that moves us over to Abigail. Hey, Abigail. She has one specifically for me and Stacey. What movies, Stacey and Sam respectively, are you most excited to show your daughter, Fern, when she grows up, and why? I can't wait to show Fern the MCU and the Star Wars series and hope like hell that she likes them. I will be disowning her as a child if she doesn't like one of them.
And my pick would be The Wizard of Oz from 1939 that we have reviewed on the show. It's my favourite childhood movie, and I want to show Fern.
Excellent. Next question was, if Compliance was made into a movie, who would you want to play the leading characters and who would you want to direct it? Tough.
Ooh.
This is so tough. We can all spitball here. I always pictured Florence Pugh as Olga, and I always pictured John Boyega as John. And after that, the characters start to get very, don't know.
What about Kate Delacroix? You had an actress in mind for her, didn't you? Kate
Beckinsale?
Beckinsale?
Nah, Rosamund Pike. I've changed my mind. Rosamund Pike, yeah.
I feel like Tilda Swinton or something. Like, oh, maybe not Tilda Swinton. No, sorry, I mean Kate Blanchett.
Oh, Kate Blanchett is good. She'd be great. Yeah, that's a good answer. Aiton, I want I've come up with Cliff Curtis as Aiton because Cliff Curtis has played many nationalities.
And he's so androgynous, yeah.
And
Not
races
androgynous.
and-
What's the word I mean? Like, you can't really tell what race he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I've got a couple of ideas for Aiton. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes. Yeah, definitely got to be Jeff Goldblum. That's a great answer.
Okay, what am I?
What about Lena?
Lena Natalie Portman.
Oh, okay.
Eust and Damien are the hardest ones because you need big hulking men to play them. And I feel like you need someone dark and brooding to play Damien, but still sort of young and boyish. Naomi Scott for Anika.
Oh, yeah.
I talked about that on the Not Before Coffee podcast. Ray from that podcast brought it up. Naomi Scott, who was in Aladdin, I think she'd be absolutely perfect as Anika.
Brandon Ruth. That's who I think for Damien.
Brandon Ralph. Oh, yeah.
Ralph. Yeah, I didn't know how to say it.
Yeah, he'd be good. I was thinking, it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking Henry Cavill, but he's getting a little bit too old, who, plays Superman. But Brandon Ralph also played Superman back in 2006, so that sort of works.
Yeah, I feel like Brandon Ralph could pull it off. Like, he doesn't look as old as maybe he is. Like, he could do it. So, yeah, you need that kind of big, solid, quiet kind of dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could probably get Chris and Liam Hemsworth to play Damien and play Damien and Juice.
Yeah.
Used?
Yeah, used. Yeah, that'd work. Abigail's next question was...
Hang on, what directing?
Directing?
Who's going to
Shit.
direct this epic masterpiece?
Yeah, that's a big call, Sam. What are you going to do?
God, definitely Christopher Nolan.
What about Catherine
kidding.
Bigelow?
Yeah, Catherine Bigelow was actually someone I thought of because I think she can convey the themes of what the film is actually about, or what the book is actually about.
And she could make it quite realistic.
And topical and poignant. Yeah. I mean, that being said, I love Lexi Alexander. I think she'd nail it, but I'm always going to go for...
What has she done?
She did Punisher Warzone. She's done a bunch of other stuff, but she's like my biggest favourite Twitter person on Twitter.
Yeah, aren't you friends on Twitter?
We are friends on Twitter. Thank you for pointing that out. It's like if God came down and started following me. I
mean, that's cool and all, but I'd like to point out that Barack Obama follows me on Twitter.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you don't love Barack Obama as much as I love Lexi Alexander, so that's all I'm saying.
I know, he's pretty cool.
Abigail's next question is, what movies had the greatest impact on you and why? Star Wars for me. Star Wars, Pulp Fiction, those are the films that I watched as a young person. And 12 Angry Men. There we go. That's the holy trinity of the three films that probably had the biggest impact on me. And then Casablanca. That's probably the fourth. I could go for hours, Abigail. I could be here for hours, but those are the ones that I watched as a youth that really changed me.
Okay, well, recently, I think we can both say Promising Young Woman.
Well, that's an upcoming episode.
Oh, my God, yes. Like,
on recent times.
Massive impact. Massive. Oh, I know the answer for, like, when I was a kid. Matilda.
Oh.
No question. Matilda, I watched and I really just related to the character, and it made me feel so much better about being like a smart kid that people made fun of because I was smart. And I was like, yeah, but maybe I've got secret powers.
Fair enough.
Sit there and try and like magically move shit with my mind, which admittedly did not work. But it just, yeah, I really liked it because it really, I could relate to her having that feeling of being smart and not necessarily relating to all your peers or like struggling with your teachers or whatever. Like, I thought Matilda was fantastic. And my middle name's Matilda, so I really like that.
Nice tie-in.
Cool. That moves us down to Abigail's final question, which is, if you guys could watch only one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Oh, God, this is so hard.
Oh, my God.
I'm pretty sure some fan out there has made a supercut of all the Marvel movies into one film, so I want to take that fan supercut. That's cheating. I know it's cheating. Someone's probably also made a supercut of the entire Star Wars has gone off the boil a bit. I think Empire Strikes Back has been my favourite film for a long time, and I've never got sick of watching it. But at the same time, there's other films too that I just never get sick of watching, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Never get sick of watching it. Never get sick of watching Die Hard. You know, there's other films like that I'm like, would I pick one of those? Abigail, you don't ask this question to a film nerd.
Yeah.
It breaks them. It breaks their fucking heart.
Sam is tortured right now.
Yeah, I'm going with Forrest Gump or Anchorman. And I know Sam doesn't really like Forrest Gump, but Forrest Gump means a lot to me. Like, my family watched it or something, I don't know, but we occasionally quote it to each other, and it's something that we used to watch on, like, Christmas and stuff. So, to me, Forrest Gump is, like, a really iconic film. And it feels like there's enough going on in it that it wouldn't bore you immediately. Like, you could watch it.
Yeah, correct.
You know, and I have watched it multiple times.
My real answer is I would choose not to watch a movie ever again.
Okay, Stacey answer.
Well, I mean, you could choose one movie that you would just watch every third year or something. You don't have to watch it like every day, right?
Mm.
You saw a film recently for a third time. And
Oh, no, Walk the Line is the movie.
Yeah,
I have
there we
seen.
go.
That's what I was going to say.
I've seen it like
Surely you'd
8 or
answer
9
Walk the
times.
Line or Wizard of Oz. Like,
Gotta be
it'd one
Walk
of
the
those
Line.
two.
Yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
We did a really good podcast on Walk the Line, by the way, listeners. You
Yeah.
should totally listen to that if you haven't
Skip
already.
back a few episodes and
Exactly.
enjoy.
That's correct. Good plug. Moves us over to Amy, who was on the last week's episode on Back to the Future. Love you, Ames. Would you guys judge me more harshly if I told you that I saw Blink-182 live in concert? Okay, that one is a bit of a joke, but I did totally go and see Blink-182 front row. I don't judge you at all, Amy. I love Blink-182. I just don't like all the small things. It's similar to like Rage Against the Machine's my favorite band. I don't really like Killing in the Name of. It's a song that everybody knows. That it's like,
Ooh,
no,
controversial opinion.
no, it's not controversial.
That's what I was about to say.
It's
It's
just
the
because
controversial
everybody knows it and they're like, oh, Rage Against the Machine, they sing that, fuck you, I want to do your Tell Me song. It's like, no, they don't. They sing more than that.
I tried to see Blink-182 at least twice in London, and both times it didn't work out. Like, I was already had like flights to somewhere else, or I was sick, or I don't know. I absolutely would go see them in person, and I agree. Like with Sam, they're a good band, and I like them. It's just that all the small things does not fit in every movie, and it's really hard to try and cram it in there.
So her real question was, what actor would you guys get to cast to play yourselves in real life? I've been over this before on a couple of episodes. It would be The Rock as a young man, and it would be Danny DeVito as an older man.
What?
Or probably Jason
Sam, both
Statham.
of those men are bald. All three of those men are bald.
Exactly, it's got to be a bald man.
If I was going to choose like an American actor because I wanted like worldwide recognition or whatever, it'd be Natalie Portman because we look very similar.
They don't.
Fuck you. It's only because I'm fat right now. When I'm skinny, I look like her, I swear. But in actuality, if I was going to pick like the actor that I felt could most represent me, I would choose Antonia Preble, the Kiwi actress.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Great
Because
choice.
I just feel like she could absolutely catch my bitchiness and my sarcasm and stuff, and she would just represent me perfectly.
Fair enough. What about you, Stacey? Which ginger are you picking? Isla Fisher? Amy Adams?
Julianne Moore.
You know,
Julianne
people can
Moore.
dye their hair red.
Julianne Moore, come
I
on
like
down.
Julianne Moore. Good choice.
We've
What
already
about a young version of you?
just digitally de-age her.
Digitally de-aged Julianne
Yeah.
Moore.
I love it. That's a good choice.
I love that choice
Yeah,
as
100%.
well. Julianne Moore. Oh, my God. Okay, next question. Paul from the Countdown Podcast. Hey, Paul. Love your work. Paul wants to know, what film do we hate that you know the other ones love? For Stacey, there is literally hundreds. We've tried to make her watch Godfather. Hated it.
Oh, Godfather. It's a terrible movie.
There we go. Most Marvel movies, she's just like, turn the shit off.
No, I watch Marvel movies. Let's just leave it at The Godfather.
So
I don't get it.
for Liz, I don't hate Forrest Gump. At the same time, I don't hate Die Hard with 4.0 or whatever the fuck it was. So they're not great movies, but Liz, Saint Trinians, there we go. There's no fuck, I don't even...
You've never seen
I
it.
have seen it. I watched it when I lived over in the UK. It's terrible.
No, you can't have seen it because then you would know it was amazing. I don't believe you.
Eat a dick. It was pretty average.
Woo! Okay, I think we've found it.
Do you like Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
I think Pulp Fiction is overrated.
Okay, you're allowed your opinion.
God.
I don't
Do
know,
I
it
think
just
any
never
less of
stuck
you?
with me
I
like
don't know if that
everyone
was
else.
possible, but I do.
Good. That's what I was aiming for.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, I just always thought Pulp Fiction was overrated. It was all right, but I feel like he has better movies. Zaz.
I don't know if there's any films that Stacey loves that I hate, because Stacey doesn't love any films. And it's like Wizard of Oz. How do I hate Wizard of Oz? Walk the Line. How do I hate that movie? It's impossible to. They're good films.
See, I have good taste.
You have taste.
You just don't like most films, Stacey.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
She's not passionate enough about any particular film that I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Good try, Paul. I know you wanted to cause some division amongst the troops, but it didn't happen, really.
We just love each other so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. On to Julio of the Contrarians podcast. Julio wants to know from Stacey, when did you realise Sam was such a geek?
Like before I met him?
Okay. My reputation precedes me.
Yes, it does.
For me, my question is, how did I propose? I got the okay from her parents at her sister's wedding, which I was long overdue proposing to her, but I wanted to make sure that I spoke to her dad and mum before we did it. And then as soon as we got home, I was like, I can't wait. I've had this engagement ring that used to belong to my grandmother sitting in the drawers at home for about 3 months, and I thought Stacey's going to find this and I need to just get this out. And now that I've said okay, I'm very much one of those, right, let's do it. Let's get this over and done with. Let's just do it. And so we went for a walk up the Mount, which is a landmark in our local town, and it was also Stacey's favourite thing to walk up the top of. And we got up to the top and I proposed.
Yes, he surprised me.
Yeah.
It was very surprising.
The whole time she was just ruining the moment too. She was like, you haven't complained about walking up here the whole time. I'm like, just shut up. Please just let me get this over and done with. Just shut up. Just shut up. Don't ruin this. And I was like, as soon as we got to the top, I was like, hey, where's your favourite place up here? Let's just walk down. I've had enough. I'm tired and sweaty. And I was like, oh. Romance.
That's my girl.
Romance.
But, he did such a good job, because at the bottom of the hill that when we walked down, my friends were waiting there with a bottle of champagne for us.
It was beautiful.
It was so great.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
And Julio's question for Liz was, what was the most badass moment of your life?
Okay, so
We don't need your full life story, Liz.
it's going to be one particular moment. I went to Cuba for a holiday between Christmas and I think like the 26th to the 14th or something, and we did a New Year's in Havana and got drunk and smoked cigars and had this awesome time. And about 4 o'clock in the morning, we caught a taxi back to our little apartment that we were staying in. And my friends were like, oh, let's keep going. I want to have another beer. And I was just like, yeah, nah, mate, I'm ready to go to bed. So I got out of the car, walked to my apartment. It was like 50 meters. It was like hardly anything. So I wasn't very stressed out. And I got to the apartment and put my key in the door. And suddenly this guy runs past and snatches this purse off my shoulder. And I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, this other guy is trying to pull my camera off my shoulder, because I've been trying to take I've been taking photos of my friends and I all night. So I had this quite a decent camera, like a nice SLR that I bought not long before going to Cuba. So this guy's trying to pull up my shoulder and I'm just like, no, I like this camera. I just bought this camera. I've taken very cool photos tonight. I don't want you to have this camera. The bag itself was like £10 from Primark or something. It was like this piece of shit cheap thing that just came off my shoulder within a second. But of course the camera came with a proper like shoulder strap and I was wearing it cross body. So this guy's trying to tug it off me and he's like this muscly dude. He might have been like 6'2" or something, like really fit looking guy. And I'm just like, no. I'm not drunk, but I'm not sober. You know when you get to like 4 a.m. and you're kind of like, okay, I'm pretty sober. Yeah. I'm not 100% sober. Yeah. So I was just like, no, get off. And I start like slapping this guy and like screaming swear words in his face. I'm like, fuck off, you cunt. And like trying to punch him in the face. And like pulling my kid and like really fighting this guy. And it's really funny because if you'd asked me prior to then, I would have been like, oh no, I'd hand over anything. I wouldn't want to risk my life. Oh no, apparently drunk Liz is fighting Liz. Like Liz was just like, hell's no.
Your camera is worth it.
Yeah, I just got really annoyed. I was like, no, you can't have my camera. And anyway, these guys, or like a group of people came around the corner and were like, hey, and like yelled. And the guy like was like, ah, and like ran away. And I chased after him yelling out, give me back my bag, you dick. And like I was wearing like ballet flats and I literally ran for like 50 meters bare feet yelling at this dude to give back my bag. No. I was just so angry.
Liz.
Like, it was hilarious.
That is pretty badass.
So now looking back at that, I'm like, damn, son. Like, I mean, he could have stabbed you. Like, Christ. I'm not saying it was the smartest move, but I got to keep my camera, bitches.
And did it would have caught him off guard. He wouldn't have been expecting you to.
Well, that was it. Like, I got the impression, I think I kind of knew right away that he didn't have anything. Like, he didn't have a gun or a knife or anything, because he wasn't like, give me your camera, I'll cut you. He was just like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, cool, you're pulling at me.
So did you get your bag back?
Funnily enough, yeah, which is crazy. So they dumped it in a dumpster. So we went to report it at the police station because I thought my work BlackBerry was in there. And I went with my friend who speaks Spanish, and so she explained it all to them first thing in the morning. And then we got called back in the afternoon, so we went back there. And they're like, okay, can you please look through this letter that says all the things that were in it? And she reads it and she starts cracking up laughing. And I'm like, what? And she's like, let me read the inventory of your purse to you. She's like, 1 gold feathered mask, 1 paper horn, 1 blah blah, and it was all these weird like New Year's paraphernalia,
right.
like I hadn't thought, like tinsel and shit, and it was just like 1 sparkly like gold length of like really technical explanations. Of
1
this
cat o' nine tails.
No, they stole all of that. So no, but what they did take was my makeup, which is super weird because it was just shitty, like Revlon used, like a eyeshadow quad and an eyeliner. But in Cuba, it's really hard to get that shit. So I guess they were like, yeah, I'm going to steal this and give it to my mum or whatever. It was quite an experience, actually. It was quite interesting.
Cool.
Well, that does sound pretty badass, eh, Sam?
Yep, that answers the question.
I'm rolling with it.
Moves over to Dan Brennick from Netflix and Swill. What Dan would like to know is what is our favourite Blink-182 song and why is it All the Small Things, Liz?
Trolling you hard.
Hi, Dan. Screw you. And I am now looking at Blink-182's discography because I know that I prefer something else, but I can't think what it is. So, Sam, why don't you answer this question while I look up what I prefer?
Okay, so recently it was off the album California. I really liked Cynical and I like San Diego. I thought those 2 songs are pretty cool. Old school Blink-182 for me is Carousel from Cheshire Cat. That's one of my favourites. So was Josie off Dude Ranch. Damn it, off Dude Ranch is, it's pretty common. Everyone likes it. I like Pathetic. I like Apple Shampoo. I like Waggy. I Miss You from the self-titled album. Man, there's Ghost on the Dance Floor.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah, of course I am. Look, okay, here we go. Here's Spotify. Here's a playlist called Blinked. It has 54 songs by Blink-182, and these are songs that I listen to on a regular.
Yeah, look, I like Blink-182. That's what's funny. It's like I don't actually dislike them.
It's just you don't want to ruin movies with their songs.
No,
it's just weird when you're like,
yeah.
It's just like Tenet. How do you put Blink-182 in Tenet? And I'm like, you don't, because that's weird as shit.
Exactly.
It doesn't work. So I think actually I'm going to go with I Miss You.
Yeah, I Miss You, yeah.
It's a really sweet, like, like it's a soft song that they do, and it's just a really nice song. So I'm rolling with that.
Well, I'm going to clearly have to listen to some more Blink-182 because I really don't know what their songs are.
The only one that comes close to I Miss You is Man Overboard. That's one of my favourite songs of theirs, and it's about when their drummer became too much of an alcoholic and they actually had to kick him out of the band.
Wow.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Intense.
Next up, Duty from Shaken Not Nerd said, here we go. You can never watch Point Break again, but you get free KFC for the rest of your life. Or you get no KFC again, and you get to have all the used president's masks props from Point Break. So you get all the president's masks that they used in the movie. You get to own them, like the original versions of them. But I'm never allowed to eat KFC again. This is a tough question for me. You two are both looking at me like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I choose C. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
None of the above.
It's tough because like those president's masks are just like invaluable pieces of movie history. At the same time,
Are they though?
yeah, they are. They absolutely are. Maybe just because they're not in your circles, but they are in most other massive movie nerdy circles. But at the same time, I do love KFC. Free KFC, man. Far out. But I'm never
Really do.
But I'm never allowed to watch Point Break again. Yeah, I'm done. I've seen Point Break enough. I'd be happy to have free KFC for the rest of my life.
I can't
Fair
believe
call.
you even had to deliberate on that.
I know. Next up, Tara Mahalik. We love you, Tara. What is our favourite song that's ever been used in a movie? This one is easy for me. It's probably Flight of the Valkyries in Apocalypse Now. As the helicopters start descending on that Vietnamese beach, it's iconic. And it's an easy answer, but just because it's an easy answer, it's the right answer.
I have one song that's stuck in my head, so that's what I'm rolling with because I feel like it fits. And that is, I think it's Old School. And it's, I fucking need you now tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking
Total
need
Eclipse
you
of the Heart,
more than ever. Fuck, I love that song. And it's just so iconic in that film, and it's perfect. Like, that is gold. What is it, Bonnie Tyler?
Yeah, it is Bonnie Tyler. America, fuck yeah, and total, and Team America were police.
Oh,
is another
yeah.
one that's up there.
America, fuck yeah.
Or Skyrockets and Flight and Anchorman, that's another good one.
You know, I'm same as you, Liz. I probably have a really good answer for this that I just can't think of right now.
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine's Wake Up gets used at the end of The Matrix, which I think is pretty good. Rage Against the Machine's cover of Maggie's Farm gets used at the end of The Other Guys. Yes, I know every single time that Rage Against the Machine is used in a movie. Come on, Stacey, we're off to see The Wizard.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's your answer.
All the music. All the music in that movie.
It's not a particular scene.
Yeah, you're thinking about the opening scene. Picks up the alien, starts, singing. Hey, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, next question. Tara wants to know what our favourite genre is in movies.
Space movies.
Space movies is Stacey's answer. Of course it's Stacey's answer. You love space movies.
But sci-fi.
Really?
Sci-fi space movies.
No, you love astronaut movies.
Oh, yeah, I love astronauts. Oh, yeah, I loved First Man.
Really?
Yes, really.
Because your favourite films are like Wizard of Oz and Walk the Line, neither of which are very spacey.
This is just new, Liz. I only found this out in the last, 12, 18 months.
Spacey Stacey.
I think it's after I watched Interstellar or something, and then Gravity, and then Sam started showing me these classic movies, and they were all... What was that sci-fi, that space one where they go to another planet from the 70s?
Oh, Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet.
1956.
And then I was like, oh, I love that.
15 years off, but yeah.
And then First Man came out, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then now I've watched the Apollo movies, and I'm just all on board.
Love Gravity.
Yeah.
I mean, comic book movies is obviously my forte, and it'd be remiss of me not to say that they're my favourite genre. At the same time, I love post-apocalyptic movies. There's something about them that I'm like an apologist. Like, even the really shit ones, even like Book of Eli, which people are like, oh, that movie's average. I'm like, I enjoyed it.
I really like that film.
I really enjoyed it. A lot of people hate it, but I'm an apologist for that, I think. I think for post-apocalyptic movies, I think is probably my underrated genre.
So, movies-wise, I'm going to say 90s action.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't really go wrong with 90s action.
So I had 4.0. Hello.
Actually, I think that's like the 2000s, but I was just thinking like Speed and, I don't know if you count Jurassic Park, but like, that kind of thing. Executive Decision. Oh, I think that's actually late 80s, but that kind of very sort of simple action, easygoing. Like, I just want to watch a movie and I don't really care. That's me.
Yeah. Hall pass to Stacey for Chris Hemsworth. Yes.
Woohoo! Thanks.
Yay. Can you share them?
Sure, Liz. I will.
12 hours each. Come on.
Okay, next question. Have you seen Bad Boys 2?
No.
You ain't seen Bad Boys 2?
When did it come out?
No.
Yeah, that's a massive wash over Liz's head. That's a line from Hot Fuzz. You ain't seen Bad Boys 2?
Is it?
Whose question is this, Tara?
Tara loves Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is one of Tara's favourite films. Love you, Tara.
Good question, Tara.
I have not seen Hot Fuzz in a long time, although that is a fucking good
That
film.
is.
Next questions. Next one. These ones are from Luke, brand new Patreon. Thank you, Luke.
Woohoo! Hi, Luke. Welcome.
First question. Which actor would you most want to read you bedtime stories?
Woohoo! This is a good question.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman's like the easy answer that first springs to mind. He said Sigourney Weaver, which I think is a very, very good pick. She's got a beautiful voice. It's calm, kind of deep. It's nice.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Michael Caine.
Have you seen the Samuel L. Jackson Shut the Fuck Up and Go to Sleep? Him reading that book?
No.
It's a kid's book called Shut the Fuck Up and Go to Sleep. It is, yeah, okay.
I have to
There's
watch
the
that.
answer.
I have to watch that. That sounds awesome.
That is the answer.
I'm going with Michael Caine from Cider House Rules.
Oh, Michael Caine.
Good night, you princes of Maine, you kings of New England.
Michael Caine. Yeah, he's a good pick.
The other one I would pick, I've already mentioned her tonight, is Kate Blanchett. Because her voice is quite deep. It would be quite calming and...
It's like Australian, but it's not Australian.
Yeah.
It's like a nice sort of gentrified Australian, which is probably a New Zealander. It's just...
100%.
So, I mean, like talking about New Zealanders, probably not Jermaine Clement, but I was thinking Sam Neill. Sam Neill's got a nice voice.
Yeah,
Nice
good
and
storyteller too.
Yeah. Next question. Which iconic movie would you recast the main character and who would you cast instead?
Promising Young Woman, Brie Larson.
Oh, there we go. I don't know if that would be classed as iconic movie, but it is
Yeah, okay, I'll come up with
going to be one day, maybe. I've got an answer. I would recast Erin Brockovich with Nikolis Cage.
As Erin Brockovich.
Yes, as Erin Brockovich.
You are starting
I think
to
you're
take
missing the
piss.
point.
I would recast.
It's past Sam's bedtime and he's
It
had
is
too many bloody... What are you drinking?
Oh, whiskey. I've had too many
Whiskies.
whiskeys. I would recast Thelma and Louise with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta.
And call it Face Off.
Yes.
I would recast The Room with Nicolas Cage.
Probably make it a worse film.
I thought you'd like that.
I'm going to cast James Bond
Yes.
with Charlize Theron as James
Yeah.
Oh my
Bond.
God, I love it.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Oh, but she's not British.
Who
Is she?
No,
cares?
it doesn't matter. She can do an accent.
So I love it.
They've had an Australian
cool.
Bond before. They can have a South African.
I'm recasting Bridget Jones with is it Felicity? something?
Felicity Jones.
Yes.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Who's she?
yes.
Rogue
need to
One.
look
That's
her
what I'm
up.
doing.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. Cool. Next question.
Yeah.
Who is the best famous Jennifer and the best famous Chris? He thinks Garner and Walken don't come for me fan of the Marvel Chris's. And obviously I've got two Chris Hemsworth fans right here. I'm also a Chris
Yeah, I was
Hemsworth
going to
fan.
say, Stacey and I are going to surely say Chris.
Yes,
Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. And what was the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer.
I think Chris
Jennifer.
Evans is a better Chris. I think Chris Evans has been in a few more
Nah.
better films.
He's my least favorite Chris, and that's even including Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris
Soz.
sucks. But yeah, I think
Well, he's a dick,
yeah.
but
I think Evans is.
Chris Evans.
Chris Cooper's another good one. Christina Applegate's also another.
Chris
Good runner.
Pine. Chris Pine's
Yeah,
going
Chris
up in my
Pine.
I like Chris
estimations.
Pine.
Yeah.
Estimations. Whatever.
I like him in the Royal Engagement, like Princess Diaries 2.
Right.
Oh, God.
Liz is cracking yourself up
Yeah,
now.
we've got listening to Liz.
I just knew Sam would just be like, I can't believe that Princess Diaries 2, the sequel to Princess Diaries, was mentioned on my official fancy film podcast.
Official fancy film. What the fuck podcast do you think you're on right now?
I don't know. This is like my fourth glass of wine. You're the one that told me to drink. My Jennifer is always going to be Jennifer Aniston. Like, I love her, and she does not get enough credit.
Yeah, she is pretty great. She is pretty great.
She's no Jennifer Lopez.
I'm pouring one out for Jennifer Aniston.
Nah, it's just definitely Jennifer Aniston. Gotta love Jen. Okay, moves us down to our final set of questions, and these come courtesy of the amazing woman that is Emily Higgins. Emily wants to know, well, have you guys been surprised by a movie that the other one has liked? I was incredibly surprised when Stacey said she liked Guardians of the Galaxy. I was shocked, because that is probably the most least accessible Marvel film out of all of them. You know, it's set in space, there's talking tree, there's a
Exactly,
talking
it's
raccoon.
space.
Yeah, in space, it was discovered Stacey's space fetish, but I gotta admit, I was surprised.
You were surprised because I watched a Marvel movie before I met you.
Exactly. In the good times. In the golden age before Sam.
I think I was surprised at how much you liked Extraction. Like, that we both really liked Extraction.
Oh, what, Sam or me? Or
Everyone.
No,
All
you,
of us.
Stacey. Like, well, yeah, but like especially Stacey. Like, I was kind of like, yeah, I can see how Sam would like this because there's like action things that are quite good and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But me and you really
Yeah.
liked it, and I was
That-
quite surprised that you liked it as much
it
as I
was
did.
surprising.
Die Hard 4 for
But
you,
it was
Liz,
great.
surprised me. I'm surprised you love Die Hard 4 so much. That one shocks the shit out of
Really?
me. Yeah.
I'm
Soz.
surprised that you like Mean Girls, Sam.
I love Mean Girls.
I know. It just seems so random, such a random of a genre for you to love.
I love Mean Girls.
See, that's why I actually think there's a bunch of like supposedly chick flicks, but I actually think that you'd really love them. Like, I feel like you'd really like The Devil Wears Prada,
No.
for example.
Oh, who knows? Okay, next question. Biggest pleasant surprises in terms of new watches, new favourites from the past year. Palm Springs, 1917. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which admittedly came out in 2019, but I'm still going to count it anyway. Those are some of my favourite films from the past year.
What was the question?
Best films from the last year.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, I'll back up Palm Springs. Yeah, Palm Springs was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I was surprised that I hated Tenet quite so much, and I really did.
Yeah.
So that's your biggest pleasant surprise from the past year, is it?
Oh, was it pleasant surprise? You just said surprise.
No, best pleasant surprises in terms of new watches, new favourites from the past year.
Promising Young Woman I thought I would like, but I loved. Like, I was kind of like, this will be a good film. And then I was like, oh, damn, this is a good film. Like, it was surprisingly good.
One of the questions was the worst movie you'll admit to loving. The Room. I don't give a fuck if people hate that film. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
We're moving on again now.
And Vampire's Kiss.
Vampire's Kiss.
A movie. I hate Nick Cage. I hate everything he's ever done.
Blasphemy!
But for some reason, it was just, I don't know. I got on board with Nick Cage.
The stupidity and the insanity. Yeah.
I relented.
I'm going with St. Trinians, although I'm not ashamed because it's an awesome movie, in fact.
Well, a lot of people like that, so it's not... You've got to think of a bad film.
I thought you said no one knew it and I should just shut the fuck up.
You've got to think of a bad film that people like universally hate. Like, I think that's got a positive score. Next question, what is our favourite movie theatre memory? And she said she...
Like being in a movie theatre.
She misses movie theatre so much. She said that, so...
Oh, yeah, that's so sad.
The most recent one I can think of is when I finished watching Tenet and I really hated it. And I was sitting there by myself going, I need to talk to someone about how much I hate this movie. And then I turned around in the theater and there was a chick going, like, waving her arms around angrily. And I was like, excuse me, did you hate this movie? And she was like, yes. And I was just like, oh, thank God. I hated this movie. And it was really nice to connect with another human being like that. Oh, actually, though, I've just suddenly thought of my favorite. And it was watching Romeo and Juliet, like the Baz Luhrmann version. And there's this bit where Leo DiCaprio says, you kiss by the book. And then this guy in front of us, because we were like teenagers, and these like guys that were maybe early 20s were sitting in front of us, and one of them just goes, does that mean no tongue? And we just laughed and laughed and thought that was the funniest thing ever as like 15-year-old girls or whatever. And every time I watch that movie now, I'm like, does that mean no tongue? And I just laugh my head off. There you go.
What about you, Stace? What's your favourite theatre memory? It's not going to see Aladdin having Fern kick her way out, or going to see Avengers Endgame and having Fern try to kick her way out.
Yeah, no, that was a memory. It's not my it's not my favourite one. I felt bad. I was like, oh, okay, you're clearly not enjoying this. Should I leave?
Yeah.
Or should I just stay here and put up with it? I actually genuinely enjoyed going to see Avengers Endgame on, like, it was like opening... first couple of days of opening.
With the super fans.
With the super fans, we went to see it at the huge big IMAX theatre. Yeah. And I enjoyed it about how animated everyone got. People were clapping and laughing and crying and just really getting into it.
And
like,
it was just your husband, yeah.
Oh, and 1,000 other people, or however many people can fit in there. I've never seen anything like that at a theatre, so that was pretty special.
Old school back in the day of me was Te Awamutu Movie Theatre. I grew up in a small town in the middle of the North Island. Te Awamutu Movie Theatre had the Mortal Kombat film before anyone else did. So before the rest of New Zealand did. So it was like word got out in Hamilton, and all of Hamilton, which is a city of 150,000 people, came to a town of 8,000 people to all try and jam into their movie theatre to see this film ahead of the rest of New Zealand. But when we got there, we got tickets, we went in, we were like 3 rows from the front, and the guy that ran the movie theatre was like the biggest capitalist you've ever seen. So he did not give a fuck of how many seats were in that theatre. He would just keep selling and selling and selling. So we were sitting there in this movie theatre, and kids would just keep coming in. They're like sitting along the aisles. They're sitting along the stairs. They're sitting along the front of the seats. They're like 3 people in a seat, shit like that. Like they just kept sending them. And I was just sitting there with Spanky, and I remember looking at him being like, bro, what the fuck is happening, bro? And he's like, I've got no idea. And it was just like kids. That theatre was just jammed. And that is probably like one of the best memories. Recently going to see Upgrade. I went to a special early premiere of Upgrade, and before they played the film, they had an hour of retro trailers for similar films. So like for RoboCop and other sort of like grindhouse 80s films that really got you in the mood for the film. So when they finally showed the film, I was like, this is the tits. And then another one in London that I'll talk about is I went and saw Night of the Living Dead, and Max Brooks was there, who'd written World War Z. And basically Max Brooks did a Q&A afterwards, and I got to meet him, shake hands, have photos with him. And the best part about that was he was like, World War Z, the movie's coming out soon. And I had nothing to do with that film. He just disowned it. He was like, I had nothing to do with that. So that was awesome.
That's amazing.
Okay, next question. If either of us body swapped with Nikolis Cage, so this is for me and you, Stace, would we stay together? Is our love strong enough? So,
no.
so if I body swapped with Nikolis Cage, you still wouldn't say marry to me?
Correct.
If I look like Nicolas Cage, you wouldn't marry me.
No,
Even though it was me inside.
it wouldn't be you inside.
I tell you what, our love life would massively improve if you body swapped with Nicolas Cage.
Listeners, I'm as puzzled as you are.
Yes.
Clearly talking shit. We'd get divorced pretty quickly. So Emily asked a very similar question to one we had before, which is cast someone to play you in a movie and cast someone to play your spouse. Amy Adams. Amy Adams is Stacey.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I can't really stand Emma Stone and Isla Fisher. I like Isla Fisher. Amy Adams and Emma Stone are not a fan
You
of.
don't like Emma Stone. I love Emma Stone.
Yeah, they're all right.
Nah, I don't.
Who would you get to play me?
Ah.
That's a good question.
Zachary Levi can play my husband.
Mm.
Well, I don't have one, so I get to just pick whatever dude I think is hottest.
Um,
No, David Leons. I'm picking David Leons. He played Monroe in Revolution, and I love him. Really, I'm just giving Stacey time to think about it.
yeah. John Hamm.
John, I knew that was coming. God, I knew that was coming. And you cast yourself, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, and Emily's final question, which is also to me and Stacey, is would you let me Fatal Attraction you? For those that aren't familiar with the film Fatal Attraction, Michael Douglas flies to an American city, and there he has a one-night stand with Glenn Close. Glenn Close develops an amazing amount of feelings for him and then just starts stalking him and basically saying, you need to leave your wife for me. Sort of culminates in Glenn Close boiling his kid's bunny, hence the term bunny boiler. And then in the end, I think they have a showdown in which Glenn Close ends up getting stabbed. So I'm pretty sure Emily wants to be the Glenn Close in this scenario. I don't think she wants to be the bunny.
What? But she gets stabbed.
I think basically what she's saying is like, would you let me Fatal Attraction you? So would you let me have a one-night stand with you and then stalk you for the rest of your life? Or the rest of her life?
Maybe she means with Stacey.
What?
Yeah, with either of us.
What?
Yeah.
This is so confusing. Okay. What would I let this happen?
Yeah. Would you let Emily Fatal Attraction you?
Yes. Why not? Yeah, let's live a little. I don't know.
There you go, Emily.
I don't
You're
know
in.
what I'm agreeing to.
You're in, mate. You're in. I too will say yes. And there's two reasons why I'll say yes. I don't want to get your hopes up, Emily, but these are very selfish reasons why I'm going to say yes. They have nothing to do with you. I love you, Emily. But first of which, I have flown to an American city and had a one-night stand with you. Basically, if I'm able to travel from here to an American city, then COVID is no longer a problem. International air travel is available. So that's cool. And the second reason is I don't want Fern to have a bunny as a pet. I want to have some like normal pet. So if Fern had a bunny as a pet, we've got rid of it. She should have a dog or something real. You know, problem solved. Bunny's gone. She needs something like legit, like a dog or a king cobra, something,
like
something
a
scary.
decent pet.
A real decent pet. Anywho, that takes us down to the end. Thank you for listening to this Ask Me Anything. It's been an adventure. It's been a wild ride. We've gone places I never expected, and we've made it to the end. So, yeah. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the podcast, we are doing a prize giveaway to our Patreons for asking us these questions. So stay tuned, Patreons, as I whip up this random generator and we see which two of you guys have won some prizes. And Stacey, would you like to click on roll and we'll see who the first winner is?
Yes, and
Number 9, Tara Mahalik.
woohoo!
Congratulations, Tara.
Congratulations.
You are going to win a Amazon $25 voucher, alternatively a voucher of $25 of your choice. The next number is number 6, which is
Woohoo!
Julio from the Contrarians podcast. Well done,
Yeah.
Julio. Well done, Tara and Julio. You guys are the lucky winners of $25 Amazon voucher. Alternatively, if you want me to just send you $25 American, I can. Up to you guys, whatever you choose. But yeah, that takes us down to the end. Thank you to these two for joining me to do this Ask Me Anything. Hasn't been that painful, eh, guys?
No, I've really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for asking these questions. It's been really fun.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for getting these questions, and we've had a whale of a time. If you had a good time, Liz, do you feel like you haven't revealed too much personal information?
Absolutely not. And feel free to ask me anything you want. I probably won't tell you. But
Exactly.
message anyway.
Cool. Anyway, next week's episode is on Promising Young Woman. I can tell you it's a cracker because we've actually just recorded it before we recorded this episode. Very much looking forward to that. If you haven't seen Promising Young Woman yet, this is basically your warning to go out and watch it because we're going to spoil the hell out of it. And you need to watch this film, I think. It's
so good.
across all aspects, I mean, like, you know, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but at the same time, I still think it's an important film for people to watch and support. If you'd like to get in hold of us, you can on Facebook at Movie Reviews in 20 Qs or on Twitter at Movie Reviews In, or you can send us an email at mritqs@gmail.com. Thanks again to these two, and thanks again to our patrons for the questions. That's cheers from me.
And thanks to Sam for taking us to 150 episodes.
Oh, thank you.
Yay,
Thank you.
150.
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe we've made it this far. Anyway, that's enough. Cool.
See ya.
Cheers.
See
Bye.
ya, bye.
Look, I've been through them, guys. You've got nothing to worry about. None of them are like really deeply personal, so you don't need to worry about like too much personal information getting out there. Okay, first question. When was the first time you guys masturbated?
Oh, I'm not answering that.
That is not a question.
I'm taking the piss.
Next question.